Hello everyone, welcome back to MixBest TV. David here. Hope you're having a great day. In this video, my list for the best affordable under the radar plugins for mix and mastering. Let's get to it. You will find all the links to the plugins we're gonna see in this video in the info box down below, but let's cut to the chase and get to the first one. Audiority or Monic Maximizer, one of the best new plugins out there for me. It fits my mixing style so well. The thought process behind this plugin is brilliant. You heard me many times saying I use saturation as a form of EQ. Well, before this plugin, you had to spend quite some time trying different saturators every time, even an experienced mixer like myself, to find the right type of saturation, to find the right plugin to enhance a specific frequency range or an instrument. Well, with our Monic Maximizer, that's pretty much the past. This plugin has 6 adjustable frequency points with their independent saturation knob, and they overlap. So basically you have a semi-parametric EQ that uses saturation instead of clean gain to get the job done. You can selectively add harmonics to a specific frequency, 6 of them. That means no matter what the material is, you will find the sweet spot. And the overall color of this saturator is great. I love it. Add the general drive knob and a push knob for more grit and compression, and you have a workhorse saturator. Icing on the cake, the blend parallel knob for internal parallel processing. Let's hear a couple of examples. Pretty cool. I'm just gonna give you a couple of quick audio examples for each plugin in this video, but you can use this on bass, vocals, acoustic drums, synths. Basically is a semi-parametric saturator, one of a kind, and it sounds really, really good. Number 2, AudioThink Type A Vintage Enhancer. This is a plugin inspired by the famous vintage tape encoder Dolby 301 first and 361 later. The original unit was designed to be a noise reduction system for tape recording and playback. The Type A noise reduction system was quickly misused and modded by engineers to enhance their recording by using the encoding stage only. The most common mod consists on disabling the 2 lower band so that only the high frequency portion of the signal is compressed, giving more air to vocals. This technique was labeled with many names like vocal trick, stretch mode, vocal stressor, and even John Lennon mode. There are other plugins that emulate this unit, but I like this specifically because of its sound and the tweakability. You have all 4 bands, and here in the expert panel, you basically have attack and release control for the compression, and you can decide the amount of compression individually for each band. Usually this unit was used as an air EQ, disabling the 2 lower bands and only using the higher one. But I recommend trying the lower bands too and experiment with the compression settings to add punch and body to drums, bass, and vocals. Let's try it on a couple of synth and loops really quick. Full dubstep track. You get the point. Classic sound enhancer, very unique top end, very recognizable. We are very familiar with that sounds, but in this one, I really love the low end punch. Still up to date, fits very well modern music for loops, enhancing synths, vocals, audio thing type A enhancer. Number 3, another one from Audiority. Their plugins are really underrated in my opinion. This one is one of my favorites. It's called The Abuser. Saturator / squash machine. I like this one for many reasons. One, it's because the saturation is dynamic, but it's not just dynamic. The controls allow you to decide how dynamic it's gonna get, how much and how hard the saturation follows the envelope signal. With the drive knob, you set the starting point of the saturation, then the strength decide how hard the saturation overall is gonna be. Then you have the tone knob to decide how bright or dark you want the overall sound. The output knob, 2 algorithms, digital and warm. Warm is my favorite, but digital works really well given the right material when you want things to bite harder. And then we have the control that sets this one apart, the envelope control. The amount will set how much the drive knob will go higher following the envelope signal, the incoming signal. The more you turn the amount knob clockwise, the more the drive will go up from its starting point according to the envelope, reacting to the income signal. Perfect for drums, bass, vocals. I love the overall saturation on this one. I love the overall saturation Audiority seems to use on their plugins. It's really tasteful. Let's hear a couple of examples for this one. You see how dynamic this one is? Very useful on bass. Let me play you something. The Abuser, Audiority, my number 3. Kind of old, but still the benchmark. You guys might know this already, but if you don't, number 4 is Lowender by Refuse Audio. Based on the old hardware DBX unit sub-synth, you have the sound of the classic dual-band sub-harmonic generator, gate drive and output filters controlled. If you cannot make your kick or bass sound massive with this one, nothing can. This plugin is easy to set up and pretty straightforward. So you have 3 different algorithms, classic, guitar, and bass. Each one reacts dynamically to the material. Let's hear a couple of examples of this one. Let's try it on another type of track. And synth bass as well. You can hear this one is really the secret for that subby, clean, powerful, solid low end. Tokyo Dome Lab limiter number 6 Gentleman Edition. You know how much I love the free original limiter number 6, which is still one of the best brick wall limiters and clippers out there. Probably 99% of my mastering work sees limiter number 6, the original free version, on them to some extent. The Gentleman Edition is just another level. On this one, we have a sleek, easily readable GUI with a lot more controls and features. For example, you can swap the modules here and put the clipper or the pick limiter or any other module in any position in the signal path. I love the compressor on this one, although I don't use it that much for some reason. The HF limiter, which was great to begin with, gets updated here probably more than any other module. You can set the threshold and then you can also set the range here. So you can inject the dry signal not processed by the HF limiter back in. The clipper is still one of the best out there. We have a drive knob here, 3 modes, brick wall open and LF clip. We have a knee as the previous version and the separation. Again, dry amount for this module as well. And then the pick limiter, for me, arguably the best multi-band brick wall limiter out there. We have a focus knob to shift the energy and decide what the limiter is gonna react to when in multi-band mode, which can be disabled. So it can also work as a wideband limiter if we disable the multi-band mode, of course. And we have our oversampling, dry amount again, and our recovery. The output section with the drive knob and true peak ceiling emulates the final stage ADDI clipping, so soft clipping, hard clipping, high frequency limiting, and multiband peak limiting. Basically most of the common tricks we use to make our material loud and still sounding good in mastering. Not many examples on this one because I have so many videos featuring the original free version of it. I want to play a little bit with the new features on acoustic drums and on a full mix. On acoustic drums, I want to try to use it more as a saturator than a brick wall final limiter. Let's get to it. Okay, level matching is kind of hard with this one because it's supposed to make things louder, but you get the point. It can also be used as a saturator, and it's a very good one. Let's try it really quick on a full mix. Again, level matching is kind of hard, but this processor is pretty amazing. Another one from Audiority. I know, this video is not sponsored by them. They just happen to have cool plugins. This one, Xenoverb, I mentioned it in my 10 ways to make vocal doubles video, is one of my new favorite reverbs. It sounds just great. It has 10 different algorithms, the usual suspect, room, hall, plate 1 and 2, a springy one, and then glass, flow, shimmer, bud, and formant. 5 pretty unique special sounding algorithm for reverb, which I honestly haven't found in any other reverb, especially so many in one plugin. Overall, the common algorithm, room, hall, and plate sound just great to me. I love it on vocals, I love it on drums, and one thing that I really like about this plugin is when you change algorithm, the controls, the knob change function, so you don't have hidden controls. Every time you go to a different algorithm, the controls change. For example, for the shimmer, we have pitch A and pitch B, as you see. Bode, you have a frequency and band mix. What else? The formant, you have a formant and a peak. So let me play with this a little bit and let's scroll through the algorithms really quick. As you can see already, we have a freeze function that is so fun to use, especially if you automate it. So these were some crazy sounds from Xenoverb Audiority. One of my favorite uses for this one is vocal, like I said. So let me just play you a quick snip of lead vocals with this one on.
So unembraceable and at last, look it dead in the eyes, the peel off the sky. All is erasable and there's nothing left here for you and I. Why do we even try? There's nothing left here. We lost our whole world in one night.
Freeze effect is just great. I'm not gonna try all the algorithms on vocals. You hear what quality this reverb is. Audiority Xenoverb, arguably the best all-in-one final compression, clipping, pick limiting plugin out there now. Tokyo Dome Lab Limiter number 6 Gentleman Edition. A no-brainer for me. I mentioned this one a couple of times in the past. Glitch by SoundSpot. When I bought it was like $1 or $2. I think it still is. Very efficient, easy to set up glitch effect with an intuitive gator and a nice drive sound and some really cool delays. Just let me play a little bit with this one for you. pretty cool. He's really interested on pad synths too. Sound spots glitch. The last one, you probably know it already, but it's worth mentioning. First of all, because it's free, and second, because it's a pretty standard sound nowadays in modern music, especially in specific genres like dubstep and electronic in general. Is based on the infamous preset multiband compression from Ableton, and it's called Xfer OTT. So this one is a very simple but very efficient, very effective upward and downward multiband compressor. Its controls are very limited, but they work really well, especially for what it's meant to do. So it's easier to hear this one in action first, and then I'll explain you a little bit the controls. So you can hear immediately, if we keep the upward compression higher than the downward compression, we bring up the low level details. That's what I like about this one. One of the things that I like about this one. It can get really aggressive, especially if we go higher with the depth. Let's listen to that. I love this one because even matching the output gain, trying to match by ear, you can hear all the low-level details coming up. It's really, really cool. And it's so easy and fast to set up. You can do the same probably other tools, but not this fast and this efficiently. If we play something in the genre this plugin is most used on, you will get a better idea, especially for the downward compression. So let me turn the upward down. You can probably recognize that kind of aggressiveness, although still clean to some extent. It doesn't add any saturation, so it's a fairly clean upward compression and basically reducing dynamic range to make the material denser, and it's really good at it. It has these controls for high, mids, and lows. They work a lot like an EQ. I'm not a big fan of them, but they can be useful. And we can make it less aggressive, a lot less aggressive actually, even a higher depth settings by reducing the time. It's pretty good sounding, definitely the best at what it does, and I like the fact that it's so easy to set up. But if you notice what happens when we up the time and make it react slower to the material, it starts working a lot like a leveler. And this is one of the functions that I like it for. For example, to bring up the sustain on bass and vocals. Let me try it really quick on bass. You get the point. You can also make it sound like a pretty good, unique sounding leveler. And this was my list for the best affordable, under the radar plugins for mix and mastering. I hope this video was useful. I hope you liked it. If you did, please don't forget to leave us a like. All the links to these plugins are going to be in the info box down below, along with some other cool links, so check them out. If you have any question, leave it in the comment down below. Follow Mixbus TV on Instagram and Facebook. We have a lot of exclusive material in there. Great news coming up too. Thank you for watching, subscribe if you haven't already, and see you next time.